Bonjour, relatives. Shangwewe Kamigukwain Indigenous. I'm Jamie Kellicutt with HIR Wellness Institute. I'm our Community Engagement and Indigenous Affairs Director. How are you doing? Welcome. Welcome to our beautiful Friday together. We are live today for emotional sobriety. And we'll do a little bit of an introduction with that. And we will do some of our regular pieces that we do on Wellness Fridays. And I would love to hear from all of you. If you're out there, if you're listening, if you're joining in with us, please leave a comment and say hello. Today, our moderator for all of the future for the rest of our time together with emotional sobriety is John. He is one of our counseling interns, and he is on the comment section. So anytime that you have a question, or if you are looking for a little extra support, please leave a comment, and John will get back to you, okay? So hello, everyone. Welcome. And we always love to start with a smudge. So I brought a few things that are very important to me, and I would love to share them with you. So I have one of my sacred medicine, our sacred medicines, which is some sage. So I'm going to add some sage to my shell. And if you have any medicines at home that you would like to smudge with, please go ahead and do that now. We can smudge together. How does that sound? So I'm just putting some of that together. I have some little pieces. I like to pull some of that off. I love just smelling it is a good way to help you with your self-care. And I also have some cedar. My husband and I, we went and gathered some cedar this past weekend. It was beautiful out. The weather was perfect, and we're going to go and do that again this weekend with our sons. And I'd love to hear some of the ways that you practice self-care, relatives. There's so many ways, so many good ways that we can practice self-care. And when we get to our private Zoom for emotional sobriety, we will talk about that. We'll talk about ways that we practice self-care and how that helps us in our recovery. So we're going to take a moment now. We'll take a moment to smudge, pray and meditate. Just take some time for yourself to get yourself grounded. Get your intention ready for today, for this time that we're together for this live. Okay. I'm going to take some of the smudge. And I'm going to give you some of that smudge. That's for you, relatives. Helps us start us off in a good way. It's a beautiful Friday. The sun is shining. We're here together. I'm at home in my home office, and so I have something in the background here. I love this because this is truly something that I really work hard at living by, doing all things with love. And my hubby and I have this in our office space, and it's just a good reminder. Love. Sending you guys all kinds of love today. So now that we've We've got ourselves grounded a bit. We're getting settled in. I would like to read our Elders Meditation. Oh, and today's is so good. I read it earlier this morning, and it felt really good. It sat with me very well. So I'd love to share that with you all, relatives. So I don't have my book with me, so I apologize, but I'm going to read it because I have it available. And remember, for those of you who have joined us before and you come and spend some time with us on Fridays, you know that I love to read from the Meditations with Native American Elders, The Four Seasons by Don Koyas. And this has been something very powerful and really something that I've connected to during my walk on the Red Road. And I have been in recovery now for over 5 years. It'll be 6 years in October. I believe October 8th is my sobriety date. And it has been a journey. And part of that journey has included wellbriety. And I love to be able to share that with all of you relatives. And what I seem to find is that when I pick up that meditation book and I open it up to the day that we're on, it's always the perfect meditation. It always, every single time I've ever done it, it has been something that I needed to hear. And so perhaps today's meditation is exactly what you need to hear. I'm so glad that you're here with us. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Miigwech. So here's our meditation. Even the trees have spirits. Everything has a spirit. And that's a quote by Mary Hayes. She is Cleaquet. I don't know how to say that exactly. I tried. And it continues to say, the trees are great teachers. The trees are great listeners. That is why we should meditate in their presence. The Great Spirit is in every rock, every animal, every human being, and in every tree. The Great Spirit has been in some trees for hundreds of years. Therefore, the trees have witnessed and heard much. The trees are the elders of the elders. Their spirits are strong and very healing. Great Spirit, teach me respect for all spiritual things. Let's just sit with that for a moment and think about that. Even the trees have spirits. This meditation has guided my day today. The idea of our trees, the idea of all the spirits that we are surrounded by, that does guide my life. Hasn't always been that way. Being in recovery, I haven't always thought that way. And I want you to know that it's okay. I want you to know that I've been there and that there's a way out on the other side. I'm going to show you the book that we're going to work out of once we start our private virtual Zoom groups for emotional sobriety. We have a workbook. So everyone who registers, and there's limited space. So if you're interested, please sign up. Maintaining Emotional Sobriety During COVID-19. This is the book that we'll talk through. We'll work through that workbook. We'll go through activities. We will also work through some activities and teachings that are informed by, I should say, by Generation Red Road. So it's the Red Road approach. We'll do some wellbriety stuff. It's going to be a time for us to come together. For those of us who are walking on the Red Road, those of us who are in recovery, and we're looking for a little extra support. That's going to be our time together, starting next week, Friday. So Friday, October 2nd, I believe is the date. October 2nd, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is going to be when we start, Central Standard Time. So if you haven't signed up yet, please do reach out to me. Email me at jkellicut@hirwellness.org. So JKELLICUT at HIR wellness.org. Everyone will receive this book. It's by Tian Dayton. We have 10 weeks worth of this support group, virtual support group. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to come together each week for about an hour, and it's going to be our circle. It's going to be our recovery circle. And we'll do a check-in. We'll introduce ourselves. We'll talk about what values we have for our circle. What do we value in this circle? Maybe it's going to be safety. Maybe it's going to be showing up. Maybe we value vulnerability. Whatever it is, we're going to talk about it. We're going to set the intention for our circle so that we create safety together. We're in this together. I want to remind all of us about CAM. Do we remember what that means? CAM, Community Activated Medicine. Our CEO and founder, Leah Denny, who is such a blessing to me personally and to our communities, coined and developed that terminology, CAM, Community Activated Medicine. The people are the medicine. We know that. We know the people are the medicine. And you know what that means? It's already in us. It's already here. Deep down in our spirit, we already have the medicine. It's in you. It's in me. So when we come together for our emotional sobriety private Zoom group, our circle, we're going to come together. Community activated medicine. The people are the medicine. Each week for the next 10 weeks, we'll show up and we'll support one another. We'll walk alongside each other as we're walking the red road. I'll be our facilitator. John and Xavier are also going to be co-facilitators in that group. So there's going to be a lot of support, a lot of love, a lot of kindness, compassion, empathy. And we'll talk about what it's been like during this time of COVID-19 as we've been walking in our recovery. How's our healing journey going? We'll talk about healthy coping. We'll have new activities to try out, things that will help support us as we're walking in recovery. We're always learning. And you know what the great thing is? When we come together, we bring our circle together, even if we're virtual. We still are healing one another. We're still healing. And if we have tough moments, we're going to sit with them. We'll talk about them. Because you know what? There's always going to be tough moments. There's always going to be tough moments. And we're not always going to be perfect. None of us are. None of us are perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to trip. We're going to fall. It's okay. This emotional sobriety group is a time to come together, a time to start talking, a time to start shedding some of those layers of our onion. Remember that, relatives? I've talked many times over the last quite a few weeks when we've had Wellness Friday. I've talked many times of that onion. And I just picture it. I just picture like I'm holding an onion in my hand. And I think about myself, and I think about way deep down inside of the inner of that onion, how that's our true spirit. It's our true spirit. And as life has gone on, things have happened. There's been a layer added. Our environment, a layer added. Maybe something we experienced, some sort of trauma, a layer added. Even connected to our ancestors. Any of the things that have happened in the past, layers added. So when we come together, our healing, our time together is about possibly moments of letting some of that peel back. Maybe even just a little bit. Maybe just a tiny bit. That's okay. That's healing. That's healing. That's beautiful. Everything at HIR Wellness Institute, all the services that we have, relatives, are free. And I mention that because sometimes we have people that jump on that have never experienced HIR Wellness Institute. And I say, welcome. Welcome. We are an organization, a small nonprofit that offers services for Indigenous and underserved communities and services to victims of crime, especially those who have experienced and have been impacted by sexual assault, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, human trafficking, MMIP, missing and murdered Indigenous people. That's who we're here for. And we know, I know, because I lived it, I still live it, that with a lot of those tough situations, sexual assault, domestic violence, comes addiction, comes hiding behind things like an addiction, or using substances to make that tough stuff go away. I know that because I lived it. I'm a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence by multiple partners, multiple people, perpetrators. I say partners because the domestic violence situation was different individuals. Sexual assault, multiple perpetrators. I've lived it. I still have addiction in my family. Still have that. I have a mom who has struggled with addiction her whole life, probably. And so I understand. I know what that feels like. I know the pain there. I also know the joy. Because it isn't all pain. There's some pain, but it's not all pain. And even when we are feeling pain, even when we are feeling uncomfortable, we can find joy. We can find our way out on the other side, even stronger than we were when we first entered. I know these things because I've been there, and I'm still living it. Not every day is a perfect day. Not every day is a good day. That's a part of life. I've learned through healing, I've learned through practicing a lot of the things that we'll talk about over the next 10 weeks. By practicing those things, I have found that I'm able to find and see the joy. And there's much, 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 much less times where I don't see the joy. I've been there. I'm going to turn down the sound of my cell phone so it doesn't ring again. I apologize, relatives. See, life, it happens. It's what we do in all those moments of life. That's what counts. How do we handle it? How do we respond? The times that we're living in right now have caused a lot of uncertainty. And even before this, we had uncertainty. We have climate change. We have a really, really difficult political system. All of our systems, healthcare, school, all of it. It's difficult. So those types of things, they can add to some of them stressors, right? I know they can. It's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come together and we're going to start learning some tools to add to our toolbox. I will bring some of the tools that I like to use that have been really, really helpful and beneficial for me. Being an Ojibwe woman, Anishinaabe, I have some things culturally that I connect with. And I'll talk about those. And I'll hope to hear from you all too, that you'll share what matters to you, what helps you. Because you know what? The more we start talking about things and start talking about self-care and healing, we actually start to find that we've been doing things to help us feel better, but maybe we just didn't slow down enough to notice it. That we actually are pretty resilient. We're really pretty strong. There's a lot of times where we're doing some really good things. Sometimes we're just moving so quickly that we don't notice. So I'm looking forward to it, relatives. I'm looking forward to us coming together, spending time together every Friday for the next 10 weeks, starting October 2nd. We have an emotional sobriety private Zoom that's going to come together. We have limited space, so please do email me so I can sign you up. This book that we're going to use is from Tion Dayton. We're also going to incorporate some Wellbriety and some Red Road approach. I'm really super excited. So many great teachings. And we'll see what works for you. We'll talk about it. We'll do a check-in. We'll have some fun activities. There's a couple things that I'm going to mention now that I would love for you to try to have with you. So if you sign up, I will be reaching out to you personally so that we can talk about this, but I'll mention it here too. So colored pencils are always good to have. We can just because you're an adult doesn't mean you don't get to have fun. We'll still have fun. That's actually part of what I'm so excited about, because when we're walking in recovery, sometimes we forget that we can actually have fun without the substance. You know, we, especially living in Wisconsin, you see a lot of advertisements around alcohol, and it's at all stores and gas stations, and you think about parties and even kids' parties, right? Things like that. I mean, Chuck E. Cheese even has alcohol. And we sometimes forget that we can have fun. We can have fun without substance. Coloring is one of them, and actually coloring is a great self-care tool. It's a great way to help ground us, to help find our calm, to slow our heart rate, our breathing. So if you have any sort of art supplies like colored pencils or markers, bring them along, because I think we'll use them. Oh, Danielle, Chimigwech, sending you lots and lots of love. Thank you for joining us, Miigwech. Another thing that I want you all to bring with you, something that you carry with you as you're walking your recovery, something that means something to you, whatever it is. It could be anything at all, something that means something to you. Bring it into the circle. So we'd be like envisioning ourselves as if we were coming together in a room, and we'd be walking in with something that means something to us, that helps us find our calm, helps us feel safe. So for me, I'll have a couple things. I'll have my tobacco pouch. I always have this with me. Keep my tobacco in there. And then I'll also have my eagle feather that's beautifully braided by Tina Holmes, beautiful Anishinaabe Kwe, who's also Ojibwe, right, from Lakudere. So this feather was gifted to me by one of my elders from Lakudere, Melvin. I say a special prayer for Melvin. Miigwech for that. But I'll bring this with me because that makes me really feel grounded, brings me back to what's important. So whatever that is for you, and I'll always have sacred medicines. I want you to bring something with you so that you can share that while you're checking in. And then each week we'll have a topic to talk about. We'll have an activity to do. We're going to learn some good, healthy coping. And if you're having a rough day, I want you to know that that's okay. And if you are having a rough day, our emotional sobriety support group is exactly where you should be. Coming together for some of that CAM, community activated medicine, where the people are the medicine. You, me, all of us. We're all the medicine. We already have it in us. I'll also have my tea. I love tea. And this is my favorite mug, so I drink it out of there. Right now I'm drinking ginger tea. And a lot of my teas have quotes on them. That's another thing that I love. So I'll probably share my quotes with you too. So I'll share what the quote of the moment is. Your potential self is infinite. Your potential self is infinite. It is. That's to you, relatives. So I'll want you to bring some water, maybe a small cup of water, tea. Water is really, really, really grounding for us, soothing. So I'd want you to have some of that. Bring some water or some tea. Bring something that's special to you. Bring it into the circle. Bring an open mind. Bring your heart. Bring all of you. I'm looking forward to it, relatives. I really am. Do you guys remember this? A few weeks back, I brought these cards out, mindfulness cards. Simple practices for everyday life. I thought it'd be a good time to read another one of these. Another healthy coping skill, mindfulness. Let's see what it is. This one says, the what over the why. The what over the why. When it comes to working with thoughts and emotions, it is important to know what is happening before you try to understand why it is happening. There are many reasons why certain thought patterns arise, but if you can't see them clearly, then you can't start to work with them. Take an afternoon and make it a priority to clearly identify what categories of thoughts or emotions arise in your mind. For example, planning, worrying, fear, or excitement. Notice the categories that come up frequently. Knowing that you are worrying and developing healthy practices to address that thought pattern is more important than fixating on what you are worrying about. That's good. That's really good. Have you ever tried mindfulness, relatives? Another healthy coping skill. The what over the why. Doesn't that kind of put it into perspective of how insignificant things are? It's just understanding, like, oh, right now I am feeling scared. You're feeling scared. The what? Notice how we didn't say, well, what are you scared of? So then you start paying attention to, like every afternoon I start to feel scared. That's interesting to me. All right. Or the worrying. Maybe it's evening and you're not going to start thinking about what is it that I'm worrying about. Maybe it's a big long list of items that need to be taken care of. Or maybe it's a family member's health. But you start to pay attention to that, oh, right now what I'm doing is I'm worrying. I'm worrying. The thought that I just had, that is a worry. The thought that I just had, that's a fear. Start to categorize them, slowing us down to really think about what is going on with our emotions. Mindfulness. We might do a little bit of that during our emotional sobriety. Another healthy coping skill. What do you do? If you don't mind sharing, if you feel comfortable, let us know. Put a comment in. Let us know what you do for self-care. What do you do when you're feeling a little stuck? When you're feeling a little anxious? Maybe you're sad. Maybe you're depressed a little bit. Maybe you're feeling worried, fearful. What do you do? Have you thought about that much? It's okay if you haven't. You could take some time now and just think about it. Just reflect. Just take some moments to really think like, I wonder what do I do for my self-care? How do I handle those thoughts that pop in my head? Slowing down. So important. So important. If you're just joining us, relatives, miigwech, we're talking about maintaining emotional sobriety during COVID-19. We're going to use that workbook and we're going to go through some Wellbriety and some Red Road approach. We'll talk a little bit about culture. We'll talk about your culture. I want to hear from you. What are you doing? We'll support each other. We'll work through activities. We'll remind each other of our group values, what's important to us. We'll create a space that's safe. We'll be practicing CAM, community activated medicine. The people are the medicine. I'm so glad that you all joined today. It truly is an honor for me to be here with you, to be able to share just a little bit of what I know when it comes to recovery. It's an honor for me to be able to share part of my story with you. If I can even help one person, one individual, because I shared my story, it is more than worth it to me. More than worth it. There were people in my life at one time that shared stories with me, and it helped me. There were people in my life that supported me, and I've never forgotten that. Never. And I never will. So it's truly a blessing and an honor for me to be able to walk alongside all of you. I'm really looking forward to finally meeting some of you. Our private Zoom will start on October 2nd. It'll be Fridays. Starting the 2nd of October, we'll go for 10 weeks. Private Zoom. So you will have to register. Space is limited. So email me at jkellicott@hirwellness.org if you want to reserve your spot. That way we can get you your emotional sobriety wellness kit. We do have some special healing kits that we send out. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for us to come together as a community, to be with each other, to support one another. How are you feeling, relatives? I hope you're feeling good, and I hope you're having a great Friday. But the reality is that sometimes days aren't good. That's okay. I want you to know that if you aren't feeling so good, that you can call our Cares Warm line. You can call or text our Cares Warm line, and the number is 414-748-2592. And one of our CARES advocates will get back to you within 24 hours, either by phone or text. Our office hours during this fall season is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you need to call our main line, you certainly can do that and leave a message and we'll get back to you. You can email me directly, jkellicott@hirwellness.org. If you ever have any questions about our programming, if you want to sign up for emotional sobriety, if you're seeking some assistance and you're just not sure what you're looking for, that's okay too. Give me a call our Cares Warm line, email me, and I'll get back to you. And we'll talk about it. We'll figure out a plan. Right now, all of our services are virtual because of COVID. But we have something going on every day of the week. There's something that you can tap into every day of the week, even on the weekends. And we have counseling interns that also help us even on the weekends. We have therapy services, we have social and emotional support, we have advocacy, we have Facebook Live posts, we have private Zoom support groups, we have new support groups that are starting in October. So emotional sobriety won't be the only option. There's going to be more. We'll keep everybody posted on Facebook. That's where we post all of our flyers, our schedules. There's a little bit of something for everybody. We have an elders book club going on right now. We have trauma center, trauma sensitive yoga for individuals who have experienced sexual assault, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, human trafficking, MMIP. If you have experienced any of those things or you've been impacted by any of those things, you can join our yoga group. That they meet on Sundays at 10 a.m. On Saturdays, Untangle will be starting again. We have our group on Friday nights, Fridays at 5 p.m. Mondays is a girls group, Daughters of Tradition. So all as early as 3 years old we've had, all the way up to 17. So if you have a kiddo and she's looking for a place, a group to join, we still have time to register. Let me know. So there's a little something for everybody. We're here for you, relatives. And I'm so grateful to you. So grateful that you spent some of your day, some of your beautiful Friday with myself and John. We appreciate you. Thank you. And I can't go without singing a song, one of my favorites. And I can't wait until I'm able to get my musicians together again. My husband and I, we just can't wait. So that someday when I perform some music for you, I'm hoping that we can have a band doing it. So it's just not me, not just me. I'd love to perform a really good, beautiful song for you with full band. We'll do that someday. We'll get there. So again, relatives, if you are looking for a support group, we start October 2nd with Maintaining Emotional Sobriety. It's a private Zoom group. We are going to come together as a circle. We're going to walk this journey together for 10 weeks. I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you. I hope you have such an amazing weekend. You have helped fill my spirit. Got me ready for the weekend, so thank you. Chimigwech. And if you have your sacred medicines, go ahead and smudge as we come to a close this evening. Don't forget to do all things with love. You can't go wrong if you're doing it with love. Sometimes it doesn't work out. That's okay. We all fall. We all make a mistake. Follow your heart and see where it might take you. Don't let the world outside there break you. They know not who you are inside. They've never felt your pain. Don't ever let them crack. Hold down. I know you feel it getting cold now. Without the breaking for your soul now. Before you know it, you'll be frozen. and you have to see this through. There's no one here but you. I feel the rain coming down. It reminds me of who I used to be. But now that's nothing more than a memory. Don't go to sleep and cry, because tomorrow, well, if you let it, it will swallow you up, and none of this will matter anymore. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I feel the rain coming down. It reminds me of who I used to be. But now that's nothing more than a memory. Follow your heart and see where it might take you. Don't let the world outside there break you. They know not who you are inside. They've never felt your pain. Don't ever let them cry your shell. Miigwech relatives, Gazagian, JB Kellicott. We'll see you next Friday. Don't forget to sign up. Sending you lots of love. Gimme Gwachwin.